Hope that you're doing well. I'm missing you guys terribly, more than you'll ever know. And I have been going back and forth about what's the best way to keep us moving forward with how we were going to be working with Mrs. Roosh. And so I thought, well, I'll still walk us through some of these PowerPoints that I had of Music of America so you can learn the bare minimum. So this is like the need to know stuff. We'll still seeing a big picture of how music was used in early American times. Okay. So to start, my question for you is the New World. When the colonists first came and heard Native American music, what do you think they thought? Now, we would normally have a big discussion about this, but I think it's safe to agree that most times Native American music to the early colonists sounded very strange. You know, they had never heard anything like this before because they were used to listening to very classical music. Okay. So I want you to understand some of the big key concepts of Native American music. Okay. And the first is that music was an important part in most tribal cultures. It was used for many reasons that are similar to the reasons that we listen to music today. If you think about music at home, not necessarily in the classroom, this is where I want you to like take a break from, okay, Mrs. Teagues is teaching us like rhythm and stuff, but think about how do you use music at home? Well, a lot of times you are listening to it as you're maybe doing chores, especially right now. You're listening to it just because you needed noise in the background, so like entertainment. Um, you might have music happening when you're at church or when you're singing happy birthday. There's lots of different things when you're celebrating something. So, what you need to realize is Native American music was used for a lot of those same reasons that we have. Lullabies being one. Okay, some of you might remember mom or dad singing to you when you're a little kid. They show gratitude. Now, this is what this means is they're saying thank you for all of the things that they have, whether it be a crop, whether it be rain, good weather across the board, um, a new birth, something like that. So they're saying thanks. This next was really important. I came across a video on Facebook um, where a sweet little girl was singing a Native American song of healing what for the coronavirus right now. So these songs are very important. When someone in their tribe was sick, they would perform different dances and songs to try and bring them peace and healing to the sick. Okay. Think about all the silly songs that we might have now from when you're a little kid that tell stories. Or if you're a big country music fan, kind of like me, um, they might tell stories of things happening all the time, right? If I think about the song International Harvester, right there, that's telling a story. Games and entertainment, okay? Um, they can be silly songs to play. And then the last thing is just practicing their religious tribal beliefs, okay? So lots of the same things that I mentioned earlier. I'm going to move my bubble here so you can see my last point, and that is music is very rhythmic. It uses lots of syncopation, familiar word, right? And complex rhythms. So as you're listening to it, some of you did already for our enrichment activity last week. You're going to hear how it's not an easy sound to just do yourself. It takes lots of training to be able to get through it and learn how to play it correctly. Okay. Some other thoughts. Let me move my bubble again. You can see there's a Native American drum. Many Native Americans believe that songs are created by their gods and spirits and given to humans through dreams and visions. So it wasn't like something that just poof naturally they had this song. Um, it was something that was a process that they felt was a gift given to them. And when we say they're gods, their gods change from tribe to tribe. Okay. And without getting into too many details, you just have to realize that they all have a different creation story. Okay. Much like in traditional churches, there are there are religious stories that go with our creation, right? Okay, Native American music also has a strong, steady beat. If you listen to the powwow last week on the enrichment activity, you really could hear the pounding of the drums. And over here, right next to me, you can see here's a picture of one type of drum. They're always made out of natural elements because they lived in nature, right? Kind of makes sense. So they use a lot of different drums, rattles, jinglers for ceremonies. And sometimes the rattles and the jingles were embedded on their clothing because then as they moved, they could still use their hands and the rest of their body would help create the music. Okay. Their clothing was made out of natural elements, just like their instruments were. And much like us, they help tell a story about them. So this often like would tell other people where they were from, what their family or their clan was, and their personal story. Just like you might wear certain clothes to kind of show who you are. If you are somebody that's like a punk rocker, you might have, ripped up clothes that's like that. If you are like country western, flannel cowboy boots. Think of our themes day back at Winterfest. That right there told a story about who you were for the day, right? It's the same thing for Native Americans. Right. So those are really kind of the bare bones facts that I need you to know. And I need you to also understand this is like really broad. If we talked about specific tribes, it gets way more complicated and super detailed in a really, really cool way. Okay, so if you're ever interested, let me know. But we're going to move forward. I want to show you a dance. This dance is called the duck dance. It is a Native American dance. It's from a tribe called the Creek, and as you see on the bottom, they perform this dance to repay the duck for helping to feed the tribe and always being kind to man. So obviously, Native Americans were hunters, right? They lived in nature. And as I mentioned earlier, they showed gratitude and thanks in many of their songs. Unfortunately, because I'm not with you, we can't do the dance together. And this one's actually kind of fun. The song goes like this: We are hey ya, 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 we are hey ya. We ya hey ya, we ya hey ya, we ya hey ya, ho. Okay, now you might be thinking, okay, Miss Teagues, what in the world are those words? A lot of Native American songs use what we call vocables. Vocables are syllables that aren't really words. Okay, so the word we and ya, those really aren't words that we would use, but in the context of the song, help them tell and dance, tell and act out, excuse me, what their song's meaning is, what they're trying to portray. Okay, now I'm hoping this works. I'm going to click on the YouTube link down here and it should pop up and you'll be able to see and hear the duck dance. Okay, and you can see there's actually two lines. One line is moving forward, and then the line coming in on this side um, is going to be moving backwards. And at one point, this line is going to stop and make an arch for these to pass through. Okay, so watch. All right, so you can kind of see how that would have went. It's actually lots of fun for us to do in class. Um, and pretty simple, honestly. So something super fun and gives you just a small taste of what their music is like. Okay. Now, this song is also really great because it has something that we've been working on in it. It has syncopation. So real fast, real furious, we're going to try and first identify, where do you see the syncopation? So syncopa, where do you see it? I see at least 3 spots. So take a second, see if you can point them out. All right, and let's see how you did. The first one happens in the second measure. You can see it just popped up. There's our first syncopa. Our next one is in the fourth measure. And then the last one is in the sixth measure. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? Okay. And if you remember this pattern, eighth note, quarter note, eighth note, it gives that funky feel because instead of it being 2 short sounds and then a long sound, nice and even, we have short, long, short. And that's how we got the syncopa. Now, a quick review of this counting, and I'm going to click these through. You can see the funky part that we've been really trying to figure out is this, how this lines up, okay? 1 comes right underneath the eighth note, and then my quarter note starts with the D because this eighth note didn't take up the full beat, okay? So we still have to finish it. And a quarter note is a little bit longer. It's that full beat, so it has to have 2 parts underneath it. That's where the D2 comes in. And that leaves that last eighth note with a D. Here's a hint for your Mad Minute. If you need to come back and look at this when you're completing your check-in, your exit ticket, Mad Minute, pause my video and come back, and this will totally help you out, okay? We can see over here, it's in the same place in the measure, and the same thing with our last one, okay? It follows that same pattern. The only difference you might have is if it's further in the measure. So this could be 3D, 4D, or it could be 2D, 3D. Keep it simple for yourself, okay? I'm gonna show you real quick your assignment for me, since this is our first one. Okay, it's due April 10th. Now I'm gonna tell you I would like it to be in by that Friday. But if you have questions and stuff, because we have spring break, and I know some of you might still be trying to work and catch up over spring break, you can shoot me some emails and stuff, and I'll help you out the best I can. Now I'm going to actually exit out of presentation mode because I want to show you something that's going to help you with your first assignment. So you'll fill out the first part. It's pretty easy. If I pull it up here, it says, what were 2 things you learned about Native American music? So you can just type in the doc that's attached to your assignment, 2 things that you learned about Native American music. Now, below it says, using these rhythms, only these listed, a quarter note, an eighth note, or 2 eighth notes together, make your own 4-beat pattern with syncopation in it, and then put in the counting underneath. If you're struggling with doing it, right on my Google Doc, just put it on a piece of paper, write in the counting, take a picture of it, and you can either insert it into the document here if you know how to do that, or attach that picture to the assignment, okay? Below, though, I want to show you this part. So I'm going to pretend I didn't do this. I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to erase this here for you, okay? So it says to make a rhythm right on the stack, you can click on the rhythms above and copy and paste them below. So what I mean by that is if I click on my quarter note, I want to use that, I can right click on there and choose copy. Down here below, I can choose paste, and I do that again by right clicking, choose paste. Magically, I have that quarter note. Now, if I want to make it a little bigger, easy enough to do, I just click on it and drag it. See that? I'm going to get rid of this number 3 because we don't need that. Okay. Now, I like the size of this quarter note, so I'm going to right click again. I'm going to copy it. And then, see, my cursor should be right next to it. I'm going to right click and paste it. And I'm going to do this 4 times because I want to keep it simple for my example for you, like what I just had. Okay, ooh, let me undo that. my cursor was in the wrong spot. Right clicking, paste, and then one last time, right clicking, paste. Now, if I wanted eighth notes or a single eighth note for my syncopation, I'd have to go up here and copy and paste them. Okay. The next thing that you can do is press the enter key to move down underneath them. Okay. Magically, my cursor moved down, and now I can write in the counting. But notice my cursor isn't right underneath my quarter note. So now I'm using my space bar and I'm clicking. This is pretty simple. I'm using my space bar again. This is 2, space, 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 3, and finally 4. So I hope that helps you a little bit as you're trying to do it in here. We're going to be learning this together. So that's why I say if you have questions or comments, shoot me an email. And when in doubt, just write it on a piece of paper, take a picture, and send it to me. Cool? I wish you guys well. I'm missing you lots. Pay attention to the stream part of the page. My goal is to try and start getting a whole bunch of different songs that you could be jamming out to and doing at home for those of you that like to do some singing. And the other thing that I want to be able to share with you are some fun websites that we can noodle around with and have fun that are still helping us practice music. Cool? I'm wishing you all well, and I have my window open today because I listen to the birds sing. And my quote for you this week is, even the smallest birds sing from the heart. Even though it's crazy right now, remember, music can help you just tune everything out and refocus yourself. I wish you all well. Goodbye.